Okay. Hey guys, this is Skip from eSports Hero, and I'm here with my teammate KevveC.
Hey guys.
We are going to do like a short review of Wing 1 and a preview of Wing 2. So, let's get straight into the action. Let me set up the... Yeah, exactly. Bam. There we go. So the first card to talk about is Explorer's Hat. Give me some input on this card, Kevin.
So this card is a Hunter class card, which you get when you buy the expansion. It's a reward,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get it alongside with Forgotten Torch, which is a mage class card.
Yep, this one.
So the Explorer's Hat, it's give a minion +1/+1, and therefore add an Explorer's Hat to your hand. So it's
Exactly.
basically infinite loop, and I don't see it work in Phase Hunter and Midrange Hunter because it's too slow. But you Skip had some idea of Control Hunter, right?
Yeah, like not necessarily me, but some people brought up the idea that you can just use this instead of the Hunter Hero power in Control Hunter decks, because you will always have one of these in your hand pretty much if you play the Control Hunter deck, and you can just use it to trade up. And like a hero power that gives +1/+1 to a minion is pretty good because it's basically charge,
Mm-hmm.
and Paladin hero power is pretty good as well. The only condition is that you already have a minion on the board. But I think this card definitely has like its rightful place in some decks built around it.
Yeah, but not necessarily in the meta right now.
No, it's just with Reno, everything's slowing down. Uh, it could be, but it's just like uh, yeah, we will still have to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird card for sure.
What do you think about Forgotten Torch?
I absolutely love this card, and I think it's really really strong. Um, you pay one mana more than a Frostbolt, and you don't freeze, but you get a 3 mana Fireball into your deck.
Exactly.
This
So
is like,
itself, it's like 9 damage.
yeah, this card is fucking nuts in my opinion. Like, people kind of say, oh, maybe as a one-off. I can see it as a one-off when you actually play Reno in your deck,
Mm-hmm.
but if you don't, then I just replaced Fireballs in my deck with this card. It's like, yeah, this is absolutely nuts in my
I
opinion.
mean, in Freeze Mage, you play until like you don't almost have any cards left in your deck, so you're probably going to draw your cards anyways. And the thing that it could also help a little bit in the fatigue because it shuffles a Roaring Torch, so shuffles another card into your deck, so you're
Exactly.
one turn away from fatigue, right?
Yep.
So it's definitely interesting, and we have been seeing it played in Freeze Mage and stuff. Jumping into the first boss of this
Yeah.
first wing, though, which one is the first boss, Skip?
The first boss is Zinar, the like genie, who gives you 0 mana wishes, and you get these two cards from him, Genie of Zephyrs and Jeweled Scarab. So let's talk a bit about the Genie.
We have seen some players play with Genie in Priest because all the buffs, like Velen's Chosen, Inner Rage, and Divine Spirit, this combo is pretty sick because you can, as Jin's effect, you can buff your other minion and this get buffed as well.
Exactly.
So it gets double value. And I think it works in Priest because Priest could play a pretty slow matchup against yeah, as Priest because they can have control. What do you think about this
Yeah, it
overall?
definitely has potential. We saw Zealot get like top 50 legend with a version with the Divine Spirit in a fire combo and Gilbin Starkers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot better than I expected right away, because a 4/6 is really not that easy to remove, and if you just drop this on turn 5, you have like a Gilbin Stalker on the board already, and then
Mm-hmm.
next turn you just go off. Also,
Mm-hmm.
what's worth mentioning is if you Power World Shield one of your minions and have Genie on board, you actually draw 2 cards because
Yeah, that's a pretty
it
sick.
recasts the spell.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this card has a lot of potential in the right deck.
Yeah. Still, we have only tried this wing for 1 week, so it's definitely potential for more tryouts.
Yeah, I also
Uh,
saw this in a hunter deck with the explorer's hat, which was pretty funny as well.
mhm. What do you think about the second card you get from the rewards, Jeweled Scarab?
Um, Super interesting card. This was played the most in Shaman probably so far, because
Mm-hmm.
Shaman has like a lot of good 3 drops, like Hex, Lightning Storm, Healing Wave can be really good in the right situations. I mean,
Scar?
yeah, there's just a lot of strong situational cards that you can get with the Scarab,
Mm-hmm.
and as Ben Broad stated, like yesterday in a tweet, it's 400% more likely to pull class cards
Yeah.
from this cover than neutral cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I already predicted this card to be pretty good, and I think it's definitely going to be.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be good in types like the decks like Shaman because they have a lot of free cost cards that are valuable, and
Hmm.
also the fact that it is a 2 mana, it curves out perfectly to a free cost card the next turn.
Exactly.
Um,
And
the stats is 1/1, so it's not the best stats, but you play this card mostly just to curve out
yeah,
and to
well,
get the discover card.
you kind of want to find most of the time you want to find situational cards that like fit your situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play this as a 5 drop very often
Yeah.
and just go right away with the answer that you
Mm-hmm.
needed. I was also thinking about playing this in Freeze Mage because you actually can get like a third copy of Ice Block and stuff like that. Third
Mm,
Frost Nova, stuff like that is pretty good.
yeah.
But I'd
Yeah,
say
it's
let's.
definitely potential to be played more as well.
Hmm.
But both of Genie and Jewel's Garab is pretty slow cards. I mean, it cannot be played in aggro decks right now. Okay, moving on to the second boss.
Yeah, we got Sunraider Ferrix,
And
and
the
he
first
rewards
card.
us with Anubisat Sentinel and Summoning Stone.
Okay, so Anubis Sentinel haven't really been played that much, really.
No, I haven't seen it once.
It's a 5 mana 4/4. The stats is too low, I think, because people can either ignore it or get rid of the other minion first and then get rid of this minion, and then
Hmm.
the deferral doesn't give any value.
Yeah, that's the problem,
You
I
can play
think.
around it.
At turn 5, the removal that's like uh, that the people have at their disposal is probably going to be able to deal with the other minions, and then they can deal with this one, and it will
Exactly.
just be a 5 mana 4/4 in a lot of cases.
Hmm. What about Summoning Stone? 5 mana 0/6. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random minion of the same cost.
Yeah, I saw some gimmicky decks like in Freeze Mage variants with Summoning Stone, but I think
Mm.
it's more trollish than anything.
Not in competitive play.
Exactly. But
Okay.
you can definitely build some fun decks uh, with Summoning Stone.
So the second boss is not the quite same interested as the Sinar.
No, exactly.
Okay, move on to the third boss.
Yeah, the Temple Escape, which was definitely a fun encounter in my opinion. Something different for once.
Mm-hmm. So the first card is a Shaman card.
Hmm.
Is it?
Yeah, the
Rumbling
Rumbling Elemental.
Elemental.
Yep.
After you play a Battlecry minion, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Um, I think this card, um, it's a little bit slow. I mean, 4 mana 2/6. It's not the best stats, and 4 mana you can the Fire Guard Destroyer, is it called that?
Hmm.
The one that you gain
Yeah,
either
yeah. Fireguard Destroyer.
+1 or to 4. I think that is just better than this. And then that card is not even played that much anymore in Shaman.
I don't know. I actually like this card a lot. I think it's pretty good, and I saw a lot of people running it already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so compare it to Knife Juggler. You pay 2 mana more,
Okay.
and you get one more
Double
damage on the
damage.
juggles, but you have to play battle cries. Okay, so how good are the battle cry cards, and what battle cry cards are there? Fireguard Destroyer is a pretty good battle cry card.
Okay, Tuskar is pretty good.
Tuskar. Then there's stuff
Um,
like Healbot. There's Fire Elemental.
but
You can
don't you
play.
think that it's too high cost minion cards to like combine it with this card? I mean, this is
No, you
already
just
4
play this
mana.
on 4, and
Okay,
then you follow it up. And
okay.
people have like a really hard time removing stuff with 6 HP. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's something that people always overestimate
Mm-hmm.
how easy cards are to remove. Like
Okay.
something with 6 HP, like if you had a 4 mana knife juggler, it stats would be 6/4, right?
Yeah.
And you would prefer more HP on a minion like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You would prefer
Definitely.
a 2/3 knife juggler over a 3/2.
Yeah, because you
So,
can utilize the effect much easier and it
exactly.
can't be removed that easy.
So I think this card is pretty good, and
Okay.
it can also be used in like dragon decks, to be honest. Like
Mm.
follow up with Blackwing Corruptor and stuff like that. That can
And
be
deal
really
5
strong.
damage instead.
hmm
Okay, the other card is the
Secret
second card is Sacred
Trial,
Trial.
yeah.
Another secret for paladins. Would you like to read
Um,
the effect?
when your opponent has at least 3 minions and plays another one, destroy it. I'm a bit torn and not really sure about this card. It can catch people off guard as soon as people start putting this in their deck. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to be decent because people are not going to play around it. They just
Yeah,
be like, "Oh, it's Repentance," or like Competitive Spirit, the last secret, and then it's suddenly Sacred Trial and your Dr. Boom dies or whatever.
yeah. But
But
the
yeah.
problem is right now, I assume that you play it in ladder then, is that people tend to play more aggressive decks right now and you don't get that much value of this.
Do you
Uh,
think there are that many aggressive decks?
I mean, there is Aggro Druid, there is Face Hunter or Midrange Hunter, Hybrid Hunter. I've seen a lot of Sulok lately as well. And I mean, this is a definitely a surprise card. People won't play around it. And if you play it in tournament, it will be good first round, but then people will track you and then they see, okay, he played this, and then it's too easy to play around.
Well, but that's not really the deal. If you play this in Mysterious Challenger Paladin, you don't really mind too much if one of your secrets gets played around, right?
Ah, I guess.
It
Yeah.
still does something, like no matter what, because otherwise it's just not going to trigger.
Do you think this card is viable then?
Uh, no, I think the other secrets are still just
Stronger.
a bit better.
Okay.
On to the Ancient Shade. I saw this being played in some aggro decks, similar to like a Fell Reaver style,
Mm-hmm.
and especially together with the
Yeah,
Fell
because
Reaver.
like aggro decks, they don't really care about the damage you get. Like
hmm
you can take 7 damage when you draw the ancient curse. They just the damage on your opponent's health matters only.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty decent for 4 mana, and like it's not really that easy to get rid of. Against some certain decks you can, there's always removal, but against aggro they still have to trade in 2 minions. Um, I mean, I have seen some people play this together with Fell Reaver,
To
but the
burn
thing,
the Ancient Curse sometimes as well.
yeah, but like I mean, when they mill with Fell Reaver and they mill this ancient curse, they don't take the damage anymore.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, right. Okay, okay. Yeah, so I think it's playable, but mm,
Yeah, in like aggro druid way, when you can
yeah,
like
exactly.
innovate this coin on turn one,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. I mean,
I mean, like you get value by just getting this for 7 damage one time.
hmm
Okay, so moving on to the best card in this set, maybe?
yeah, we'll see about that, but it's definitely a meta and deck defining card. Reno Jackson. If your deck contains no more than one of any card, fully heal your hero. I don't think we need to
Talk that
actually
much about it.
talk that much about it. People saw what this card can do.
Yeah. And I mean, like the 6 mana 4-6 is actually the stats is not too bad. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
it's a 4-6.
Like
It's
in
like
control matchups, you can just drop this on turn 6 if you don't have any better
exactly.
play.
Um, yeah, I think this card is definitely one of the best
Yeah, it's sick.
in this first wing.
I played like a Highlander Paladin and went like on with Reno, where
Mm-hmm.
you just play one copy of each card,
Yeah.
and went like on an 11 game win streak yesterday.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Pretty good
It's like
card.
if you get this against aggro, you just win.
Yeah. Just keep it in your
Uh,
starting hand, like seriously.
yeah, almost.
Okay.
Um, okay, so going to the class challenges in this first wing, we have warrior and then we have warlock. So the warrior, what is the
Obsidian
warrior?
Destroyer. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Scarab with Taunt. So this is basically a kind of bigger but also smaller Hogger
Mm-hmm.
because the card itself for one
Bigger
more
and
mana
not
you
so
get
small.
for 1 more mana you get 3/3 on the body, but minus 1/1 on the taunt.
Mm-hmm. So
And
basically
yeah,
this card is just worse than Doctor Boo.
yeah, sure, but every card is worse than Dr. Boom.
No, I mean like it's the same stats. It's just summoning one Scarab with taunt. Is this at the end of your turn every turn?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I guess like, but still one taunt doesn't really do that much, right?
To be honest, 1/1 taunt can do like a lot in situations
In
where,
Warrior,
yeah,
mm.
like how good is taunt totem sometimes?
All taunt totems are good, but they are just because they are in particular in Shaman. I mean, the
No,
one
but
one
it's just
taunt.
about protecting your other stuff and
Yeah,
preventing
I
good
guess.
trades and stuff like that. I think this card is pretty good, to be honest. Strifecrow played it to top 30 legend. Like he played two
Really?
copies of this in his control warrior, and he made the argument that in comparison to Boom, the
Mm-hmm.
control warrior doesn't really care about the Boom bot damage to face anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's true.
to be honest, it goes to face quite often because the kind of way that people remove Boom, they
Yeah.
don't have minions on the board. They just attack the boom bots in with like weapons or stuff, or brawl or whirlwind, whatever, and fan of knives and beat. Like they have a lot of answers to the boom bots where the boom bots don't actually kill the minions.
I
And
guess I haven't played this card yet, so I might have to try it out because before judging it too
mhm,
much.
it
Uh,
definitely has a lot of potential in my opinion.
mhm. Okay, so to the second class card,
Yeah.
Dark Peddler. Battlecry discover a one cost card and it's Warlock. And Warlock has a lot of valuable one cost
hmm
cards. What do you think about this card?
I love it. Like it a lot. It has so much flexibility. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what it makes what makes the card in my opinion. Like you can play this on two
Yeah.
and you get like a good 1 mana card so often. Like there's Power Overwhelming, Soul Fire Flame, and Void Walker, Mortal Coil. There's a lot of 1 mana neutral cards that actually can be devastating in certain situations, like the Bloodsail Corsair,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
the 1 mana 1/2 that removes 1 durability on your opponent's weapon. And
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that can be really devastating.
I mean,
And you can also play this on 3 as a 3 drop and just play the 1 drop right away.
yeah, to curve out.
hmm
I mean, the value you get from the discover a one cost card is usually higher percentage than the value you don't get. I mean, um,
You just give up 1 stat on
yeah,
either HP or attack
yeah,
for a 1 cost card, which is very likely to be a Warlock class card, and the Warlock class cards that cost 1 mana are really good. So,
yeah. Okay. So basically, that's all from the first wing,
hmm
and we're going to move on to the second wing
and
and
do
have
a
a
preview of these
yeah,
cards.
exactly. Okay. You wanna go on to the first boss in this second wing?
Yeah, the first boss is going to be Chieftain Scarvash, and the cards we will get from him are Tunnel Trog and Ethereal Conjurer. So
So it's a
tell me
shaman card and a
mhm.
mage card.
Tell me something about the Tunnel Trog. What do you think?
I think this Tunnel Trog is definitely playable. It's going to be playable. And 1 mana, 1 free. It's the same as Mana Womb,
Hmm.
but this card, whenever you overload, gain +1 attack per locked mana crystal. And I have this discussion with Modern Leopard, Raven, and Aquablood that when you get overloaded the first turn, I mean, if you play this turn 1 and you play Totem Golem turn 2, you get overloaded 1. So
Hmm.
you get +1 attack. But then when you play Totem Golem again, or something that overloads, then you get +2 because you still have 2
Yeah, you
crystals
don't.
overloaded. So, I
You
mean, you
don't
can gain
actually.
insane value from this card.
No, you don't. It
You
doesn't
don't?
work like that. Ben Brode confirmed on Twitter
Oh, okay,
that
he can
you
confirm now.
just
Okay.
get the value that's stated on the card itself. So like if you
Okay.
lightning bolt in brackets, there's a 1 because it overloads for 1 and you always get that attack.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
slightly worse, but
So it's
I
it's
don't think
slightly worse, but it's still playable.
yeah, no, like playable is an understatement. This card
Yeah, I
is
mean, like, it's still very good.
this card is potentially what could bring back Shaman.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Definitely.
still think the overload mechanic itself is going to be too big of a problem to actually get it to tier 1. But I think Shaman can definitely move up to tier 2 with this card.
Yeah, absolutely. Ethereal Conjurer, 5 mana, 6/3, discover a spell. What do you think
Hmm.
about this card?
A very interesting card. Obvious comparison is like Azure Drake, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You get one more stat overall, but it's distributed in a worse manner because you have one less HP and the two more attack don't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
And like three HP dies to a lot of 2 mana spells like all the Frostbolts, Dark Bombs, Quick
Yeah.
Shots,
Wrath.
Wrath, and but discovering a spell, which is going to be like a mage spell, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
can be really, really valuable. There are so many good mage spells for
I would say like it's
situations.
almost only good in different situations. I mean, if you need Arcane Explosion against Paladin and you get that, then it's the best card you can get. I mean,
Hmm.
so the spells is definitely good. But
Yeah.
how much like when you compare it to Azure Drake, I discussed this as well with some players that um, would you rather prefer to discover a spell, or would you rather prefer to draw one more card from your deck?
I'd rather discover a spell for sure because I get to choose actually the card that I need for the current situation,
Okay,
and I'm guaranteed to get a spell,
all
and
right.
I can get a third copy of a card that I already won twice in my deck.
Mm-hmm.
If I get a third Firebolt, a third Frostbolt, like that's pretty good. I mean,
But do you think if this card actually would have been 4/4 instead of 6/3?
um, yeah, probably better, just straight up better.
Just
But I
because
don't
the
think
one extra
it's going
health
to
matters too
make.
much.
I don't think that's what would make or break the card
No.
necessarily. I think the problem with this is that the cheaper discover cards are, the better,
Mm-hmm.
because you have the chance to play the discovered card right away, and you can never go like you will. Like the mage spells are quite expensive. You can never go like Ethereal Conjurer into Flame Strike or something like that.
No.
Or like
Yeah.
Ethereal Conjurer into Arcane Explosion. That's 7 mana and you like, it's kind of meh. So
Yeah.
I'm not in. This card has potential, but it's not that great, in my
Okay.
opinion. Okay, so
Okay.
onto the
So
Mind card. Tomb Spider and Unearthed Rapture are the rewards for this one.
okay. So Tomb Spider is a neutral card. 4 mana, 3/3. Battlecry. Discover a beast. What do you think about this card?
Really hard to evaluate. But with the new insight that the class cards for the beasts are a lot more likely,
Mm-hmm.
this could actually be insane. Like, get a third high main. Holy
Yeah.
shit. I
High
mean,
main Gazrilla King Crush.
yeah, that's some value right there. And you don't lose that many. I guess it still trades with Shredder, with the first half of Shredder,
Hmm.
and it's still a beast, so you can outmaster it. I think that this could be insane, to be honest. This could get a
It could
staple.
also curve out with Ram Wrangler.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely have potential.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so the second card, the Unearthed Raptor Rogue class. Explain a little bit about this card.
Battlecry, choose a friendly minion, gain a copy of its Death Rattle effect. Okay, so the first thing we're looking here at are 2 mana Death Rattle cards, right? Because
Yeah,
if we play on Curve, there are cards like Haunted Creeper, Loot Hoarder, Blood Mage Thalnos, um, I guess like Nerubian Egg, but the first ones are kind of reasonable to run in Rogue at least. You don't really want to run Nerubian Egg because then you have to run Cold Bloods, and the
yeah,
other
yeah,
only synergy is like Tinker Sharpsword Earl. But I mean, the upside you gain, a 3 mana 3/4 with Death Rattle, spawn a 4/4.
yeah.
I mean, that's
That's
just
pretty
nuts.
good.
And also, like, if you just copy the Loot Hoarder Death Rattle, 3 mana 3/4 draw a card, are you
Yeah.
like kidding me?
I mean, like the value this card can get,
Is
it's insane.
insane. Yeah.
But this the 2 mana card has to stick on the board.
I mean, if it doesn't, you still play Spider Tank, which
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So basically, this card is like usually on Rogues turn 5 they play Asher Drake, right?
Mhm.
And you could also use this to play with the 2 mana card.
Oh yeah, true.
So so I mean you can either guarantee like 100% value at turn 5, or you can play turn 3, get value if your minions stick to the board, or it's a free 4. And free 4 is actually pretty good in Rogue.
Yeah. To be honest, I think this is like my favorite card in the set because Rogue is like my favorite class, and this opens up so
Yeah.
much more possibilities itself for the class. And Firebat made a pretty good argument. Either this card is going to find a deck to fit in and be like absolutely amazing,
Hmm.
or the Death Rattle Rogue is not going to be viable at all, and the card is unfortunately not going to see much play.
Yeah. We hope for the that the Rogue is going to be played
Yeah,
even
you like
more.
Rogue as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love Rogue.
Okay, on to the Archades, the last
Last.
boss of the upcoming wing. First card is Fierce Monkey, Taunt, Beast, 3 mana 3/4. What do you think?
Warrior class card.
Yep.
We talked a little bit about this card maybe be potentially played in Town Warrior, or actually I did, and like you said, there's many cards in this set actually that it's similar to just a spider tank,
Mm-hmm.
but with a different effect. And taunt in this in Warrior doesn't really matter that much because, as we said, Dread Courtier it's still better because you can synergize it with your weapon.
Yeah. I don't think this is gives you enough in Warrior to like maybe in some beatdown tempo warrior, I don't know, but in like control warrior, just this doesn't really give you anything that you're looking for, right?
Mhm.
Um, the taunt on turn 3 isn't that important, like, and you don't want to play spider tank in warrior, right?
No.
So, this card is obviously for arena this is insane, right?
Yeah, yeah. For arena, it's insane. But if we look in the competitive play as like in tournaments and ladder, then maybe not.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
so Reliquary Seeker. Battlecry if you have 6 other minions gain +4/+4,
1
1
mana,
mana.
1/1 warlock class card. This card is just bad.
Yeah. Just crap.
Just
Like,
bad.
just play a Sea Giant instead or whatever. If you're
Yeah,
6
yeah,
other
exactly.
minions, you're gonna win anyways, right?
Yeah, right. So just move on to the next card.
Excavated Evil. Deal 3 damage to all minions. Shuffle this card into your opponent's deck. 5 mana Priest class card.
So this probably was made for play against patrons, but um, like it's same mana as Holy Nova, and this card is just worse than Holy Nova because this card gives your opponent ability to draw it, and it
Oh, do you
deals
think so?
3 damage to all minions and to your own minions as well.
I think this card is actually pretty good, to be honest. Like,
You think?
obvious comparison is Hellfire. Okay,
Yeah,
you get,
Hellfire, but gives your opponent back.
yeah, okay, you get, you pay 1 more mana. The heroes don't take damage, which is better for you because you're priest, you're a control deck. But you need to keep in mind that you don't actually play that many minions. You play this in like a really controlish priest
Okay.
with late game bombs and like entomb. You just steal your opponent's late game shit. You don't actually play too much stuff yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you play 1 more mana compared to Hellfire. You don't take damage yourself, uh, and you give your opponent a card in his deck which he doesn't want because you're a priest. He doesn't like what does deal 3 damage to all minions do for him when he doesn't when you don't have any minions.
Mm. I was thinking a little bit about playing this in like a fatigue mage or something, fatigue priest. But
Hmm.
then again, you give your opponent 1 more card in his deck, so
Yeah,
yeah,
but I
maybe
think just
not.
in like a regular control priest, this card can actually be really good in my opinion.
Well, we have to try it out
Yeah,
before we
for
can
sure.
um discuss more about this card. So the last card is a legendary 3 mana 2/4 brand Bronze Beard.
Yeah.
Your battle cries trigger twice, like the 4 mana 1/7 Baron Rivendar,
Hmm.
but trigger battle cries instead of death rattles. What do you think about this card?
Um, Interesting card for sure. Uh, the comparison to Rivendare, at first sight, it might seem worse because you can have Death Rattle minions on the board and then play Rivendare, and
Mm-hmm.
your opponent can't really do anything
Yeah,
against proccing the Death Rattles. But you either need to have 3 extra mana with your Battle Cry that you want to double, or you have to drop this on like turn 3 and then curve into good Battle Cries.
yeah,
I don't think that the problem necessarily is dropping this on 3 because uh, removing a 4 mana minion on turn 3 isn't really easy for a lot of decks. The only deck that can do it like reliably is Warrior with Deathbite.
yeah, and True Silver Champion
Yeah,
in
true. But Trucive has been cut down to 1 in
yeah,
almost all lists, right?
yeah.
So, but then the problem is there aren't really too many good 4 mana Battlecry minions.
No, there is
There's
not.
Twilight Drake, which is sick.
Twilight Drake, yeah, maybe Twilight Dragon.
Like
Or
that's what I can see this in a in a dragon
yeah,
deck.
it's definitely going to be tested out in more control decks and not in aggro decks
Yeah.
because in aggro decks this is just horrible.
I like the idea of playing this in the Ghost Dragon Warlock
Mm-hmm.
because you have like also double abusive, double big game hunter and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
all the dragons.
yeah. Just so you know, this battle cry trigger twice. It's not it triggers on the same target, so it won't trigger on two
Yeah,
different
you
targets.
can't
Like
BGH two separate minions or
yeah,
something like
if you
that.
do like Dragon Corruptor, it deals 6 damage to the
But for
same
example,
target.
you can do stuff with this like uh, you abusive sergeant a 3 mana a 3 attack minion, and then you can BGH it.
Yeah, 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 I guess.
Stuff like that.
But
It's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
funny.
this definitely because you do play double BGH in
Yeah, and double
Dragon
abusive,
Lore.
and also you have the Blackwing Corruptor and the Twilight Drake and the Twilight Guardian. Yeah, this is the place I would see this card in like a Dragon Warlock.
Okay, so that's the wings, the bosses for this wing,
And
and moving on to the class cards, which probably is the best in this whole second wing.
hmm
First one is a druid, and what's the card?
the Mounted Raptor, the 3 mana 3/2 Death Rattle summon a random 1 cost minion. Shredder or Harvest Golem are obvious comparisons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think on average, the random 1 cost minion is worse than a 2/1. Actually, I saw some stats on it.
Mm-hmm.
And but obviously, in like the deck you would play this in, a 3/2 is better than a 2/3. A
Yeah,
lot better because you want
in
to play
aggro
this in
decks.
aggro druid, right?
Yeah. So it's really going to be potentially tried out as well because it's definitely have potential to be played.
Mm-hmm.
And Druid have been searching for a free drop, and also that it's a beast, so you can get it from Ram Wrangler and that stuff.
Yeah,
So
web spinner both.
yeah, web spinner buff, and yeah, I mean it could work pretty well, pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the other card is a paladin card.
Keeper of Uldaman.
Battle cards set a minion's attack and health to 3.
4 mana, 3/4.
There's another that's another card that has 3/4 again the stats.
Mm-hmm.
But this card is amazing because you can set a minion's like a recruit 1/1 to a 3/3.
Yeah, this card is nuts in my opinion.
Yeah, like it's either you gain the value of buffing the worst card in a paladin, so like a recruit. So you get +2/+2, which gives this card the total value of 4 mana, 5/6,
Mm-hmm.
or you can reduce your opponent's minion to 3/3, and this can trade away the 3/3 pretty easy.
Yeah, or just like the stuff you have on board or an equipped weapon, stuff like that. Like, that's such a huge tempo swing. Like, let's say you have
Yeah.
Truso, like, this is going to go into mid-range Paladin where you actually play Trusilver twice again,
Yeah.
because this is so sick with Trusilver. Like, you have it equipped and you can just kill any minion of your opponent while playing a 3/4. That's just insane. And
Yeah.
the setting your own minions to 3/3 is also sick, which kind of leads me to a comparison with Quartermaster, where you pay one less man. Like, sometimes Quartermaster on a single 1/1 is good, right?
Yeah.
You do that play quite often, like not often, but sometimes, and it's not that bad to be honest. And now you get this for one less mana, one more attack, and one less health. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah. This card is definitely going to be played
Yeah, it's
in
amazing.
midrange paladin. So that's all the cards for this set, this wing, and it's coming out tomorrow in the EU region, the 19th November. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah,
Skip.
that's it from us, and we will do pretty much the same thing going on through the whole adventure. Next week we're going to recap Wing 2 and preview Wing 3, and I hope you guys keep tuning in.
Yeah,
And
don't forget to follow the channel, subscribe to the channel, and follow eSport Hero at Twitter, and follow ESH_skip
and
and
ESH
ESH.
underscore KevveC on Twitter.
That's all. Thanks
Yep, see you next
for
time.
this review.
Bye.